With us now is psychic medium Josephine Ghiringhelli. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You know, I kind of made a rule that I was only going to let people on that have your special gift if I felt that they were legit, authentic, and really were the real deal. We spent some time together recently, and I can verify that you are the real deal. So it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate that.
At what age did you know that you had this gift?
I actually, from when I was a child, I would
Okay.
actually see spirits. I have a very big family, so, I would actually see the spirits in the room, and not that there was anybody to speak to, but it just came natural.
More than imaginary friends. So it wasn't like you were just a child that had imaginary friends. These were people.
These were soul energies. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And how did you link that up for yourself? How did you find the very first validation that you had some special powers or abilities, or that your brain had the ability to use parts that other people weren't really using?
Well, when these occurrences were happening, I was young, so I didn't understand. But when my brother was killed, he was a police officer at the 79th Precinct. He died in the line of duty, and I went to a psychic medium because I really needed to get in touch with my brother. And when I had the reading, he did get in touch with my brother, and he said to me, "You're going to be sitting in my chair. You have this ability." At the time, I worked for DEA, so I was the furthest thing away from being a psychic medium. I mean, I knew that I connected, but I didn't know exactly what it was. So he said I'd be sitting in his chair, and I started taking classes with him and developing what I already had, which led me really onto my path.
I look at it as an art form. Would you agree? Like somebody,
I agree.
if you have some natural ability to paint, and then that then has education behind it, then you're going to be a better painter. But you have to have a little bit of ability and a lot of research and a lot of knowledge goes into it, and a lot of practice, right?
That's exactly right.
I mean,
That's exactly right. Because having the ability is one thing, and everybody has psychic energy, has gut instinct, has that intuitive ability, but on varying levels. So me, knowing and tapping in, but not knowing what it was, and then being told, and then going for the classes, it really did exactly that. It sharpened my ability, it fine-tuned me, and that's exactly what happened. That's what brought me on that path, and with each tragedy that I had in my life, it really opened me up more and more, and I've had many.
Yes, and well, speaking of tragedy, besides your brother, you also lost your son, and this is James. So this is your son, your
That's my
beloved son.
James.
Passed away 7/11. What year?
He passed away on his birthday was 7/11.
Oh, okay, his birthday 7/11.
And he passed on October 4th, 2009.
Okay,
Yes.
and so obviously, I'm holding his music here.
Yes.
Creative, beautiful, wonderful, young, vibrant artist.
Yes.
So you had been in this work for a very, very long time.
Very long.
Did you foretell of something? Did anybody give you a message ahead of time at all? We've never discussed this, so if I ask you anything uncomfortable, just let me know.
No, that's okay. Because my son was actually, he was struggling, so, it's always a parent's worst fear that anything would happen to their child. So in my mind, I always worried about him. I worried about my James from the moment he was born, actually, because he was so sensitive. But no, there was no outside forces. It was just me being really worried about him. And as any good parent would do, try to protect your child as much as possible. And he was always very creative and very sensitive. And he would write poetry, and he sang, he played the guitar. And, he had his struggles. And, sometimes when people are living, even as a young person, I always say the strongest love is young love. And, so from offshoots of that, my son passed of an accidental drug overdose, which is really even difficult for me to say this day. Beautiful soul, and they all are. We are losing our children every day, every day. So in my son's memory and in my son's honor, I have a scholarship for him that I do at the Newfield High School that I give out every year to a serious performing arts student, because I know that's what James would want. He would want to help pave the way to help a student create a path for them to achieve their goals. And so now I work with New Hope Rising young boys and girls who, you know, through, you know, psychic development, through, I just did a workshop, The Secret, and helped them all to make their vision boards and to talk to them about life and love and future and give them hope, because that's what it's all about. And I really feel that these kids are also creative and they are truly, you know, artists in their own way. And I always say, if I could save just one life to give them hope and to see future, to see that who they are and to value themselves, everything is all worth it. And through my son's memory, sometimes things happen we have no control over, and we'll never understand. We will never understand.
And it just, you know, and it's such an interesting journey for you. Like you said, you've had a lot of tragedy. Do you find that you were uniquely gifted with your ability, though, to help other people that are going through that need to connect, but they maybe don't know how to do it themselves? Like a conduit, I guess. Is that what you are more so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, people will, you know, what I do is actually, you know, help people to connect with their loved ones on the other side. And also, I mean, they don't really need a medium, but a lot of times people don't trust themselves with what they're already getting and what they already possess. I mean, I do this. I've done this for over 25 years. And when my son passed, I went to a psychic
That's
medium.
what I was just going to ask you. That's so funny you said that, because my first question was going to be, Josephine, did he come directly to you, or did you go to somebody? Did he appear to someone else first for you, so that it could kind of make you feel comfortable that it really was him? Because if you were so desperate to hear from your child or someone else that crossed over, you're right, you might not trust it at
That's
the beginning.
right. And that is actually what happens always. I
Okay.
mean, I was fortunate that, you know, John Edward is a friend of mine, and he actually knew my son. He knows my other boy too. And he said, Josephine, what do you, I'll never forget his words, what do you need from me? And I said, I need to hear from my son. And he was kind enough to give me a reading that to this day I remember it, and in my mind I listened to it over and over. But my son did come to me. I did see him, hear him, sense him, all of that. But even myself, we need assurance. We need to know beyond the shadow of a doubt. And John, he did that for me.
And it's why I don't cut my own hair. You know what I mean? Like there's certain, so certain people have certain talents and abilities. So
Yes.
I loved spending time with you. You know, my mom came through, my husband Tom came through, other people I didn't even know came through, but then it all started making sense. Even the other day, you told me that my oldest was going to surprise me, and I said, I'm like, I already know he's going to be successful. I already know that Andrew's on his path to doing great things. I'm like, so at first it didn't really ring true with me. You know, I was kind of doing it a la carte. I listened to you, but certain things applied, and I thought, well, maybe certain things didn't. Within 48 hours, Josephine, the phone rings. It goes, where are you? I said, I'm out. I'm at seeing my friend doing comedy. He goes, I was here to surprise you. I just
I love it.
I loved it.
I
And I
love
just wanted
it.
to give you my own validation.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank
and so
you.
those funny little things. And it was completely out of the ordinary for Andrew to do something like that. So I was surprised. So thank you for that. And so what are you hoping for now? How do you want to reach out with being able to help people? You know, how can you reach out on a global level? How can people find you and reach out to you, and maybe even make an appointment through online? Could you do a phone reading with someone?
I mean, I do phone readings.
Okay.
I mean, I've done radio for many years.
Yes, you have. Yep.
And people will say, how could you do a reading for someone without having their body there? And the fact of the matter is, everyone has a vibrational energy. So when people call in and they may say, hi, you know, I'm Janine, right away, as soon as they start speaking, information will come through. So I do phone readings for people in state, out of state, who can't come to my office. And I also read for people in my Selden office. But on more of a global level, I do fundraisers to help raise funds for worthy causes, and also I work at restaurants and theaters and things of that nature to really reach out to the numbers of people, to larger groups, because even if someone doesn't get read, the fact of the matter that they hear other people receiving these messages are so comforting and healing to them, and also that there are non-believers that are in the
There are a
audience,
lot of
many,
non-believers. Yep.
and they say, oh my God, and oftentimes those are the ones that I go to, but they'll say, oh my goodness, I'm a believer now. I can't tell you how much joy, because that's what it's all about.
Comfort.
To bring
Giving
healing and
somebody
comfort.
Yep.
And knowing that love is eternal, that there's life on the other side. It's magical, and it really truly does change a person's life. So it's really on that level that I'd like to really expand more, you know, with radio and theater and all of that, to read for groups in theaters and more restaurants and things of that nature.
Well, I'm happy for you and joyful that you've embraced your talents and embraced your abilities. In fact, we made a joke and we said, like, you know, sometimes spirit talks through electricity, sometimes they talk through different things. And we even joked, we're like, we hope we just asked all of our angels and our people to just kind of like watch from a distance at this moment, right? Because we didn't want the lights to go out. But thank you so much. It was joyful to have you here.
Thank you so much. I
Stay
appreciate
tuned for
that.
more. If you have lost a loved one, if you just need maybe some intuition about what might be happening in the future for you, you know, what's coming up next for you, just a little happy insight, reach out to Josephine. And thank you for watching Live It Up.